I'm joined by Desiree Ellis, a coach of the national women's football team, Banyana Banyana. Coach, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Right, so much positivity around Banyana Banyana. This is your squad. Are you happy with it? Have you got all the players you need? No issues?
Very excited though. There was a few injuries in Mamelo and Rachel Tsibate, and obviously the under Smida playing a UEFA Champions League match, lost 32 during the time of the tournament. So we gathered the best possible squad that we could. It's great to have Janine and the US-based players. Last year we weren't able to use them because the FIFA window cut off just before the semi-final stage. So It didn't make sense to bring them in. But it's great to have them, and Tembi Kgatlana as well, who's ready to go, who was the player of the tournament last year, and having Refill Vejani, who's just signed, I think that's fantastic for us. It will be a fantastic send-off for her. She captained the team to victory last year.
And this tournament's coming at just the right time, it seems. It's perfect preparation, but you're defending champions, playing at home. A lot going on for the team. Obviously, that's where the coaching comes in.
You know, it's important that we also get to play at home to show the fans, to show the appreciation for the fans, and also for the players to showcase their talent, because playing away from home, it's tough. But I think the pressure playing at home, I think if you go back to last year when we played, especially in the semi-finals, I think the girls handled the pressure really well. In the final as well, when they equalized and their fans started getting behind them, we handled that well. So hopefully the girls can take that and then build on that, you know, when the going is tough, that they can also raise their hands. And playing at home is always exciting, so it'll be wonderful for us. And this tournament type of matches comes very close to the tournament in November, and that will show us really where we're at, because normally we play once-off qualifiers, but the tournament and the players we've selected, we're hoping that we've got the mix right for this tournament. But to the players out there that's not in the squad, you know, it's never over. It's always open. Players need to raise their hands, and if players don't perform and they perform, then, you know, who are we? We have to give them an opportunity.
And you must be very proud of your squad at the moment, of your group of players that you've brought up. They're doing so well. A lot of them have got international contracts. It's just been an upward trajectory for the women's game, but obviously didn't happen overnight, did it?
No, it didn't. I think it's not just this year or last year. It's years and years when people have been monitoring them. First it was Janine, and I think that comes off the back of playing so well against the US. Then it was Linda and Tembi, and you know, and then Odie went overseas, and then now it's Refilwe and Rhoda that's gone. And when the other players do well overseas, they open up doors for players to come. And now with so many South Africans playing abroad, I think people are beginning to realize that, you know, we have something here in South Africa. And we've seen how Tembi's grown, and Janine, and we're hoping that Refilwe and Rhoda going to Australia, they will grow as well. Because a lot of the Americans, when their league's done, they go play in the Australian league, and that can only raise the level of the football. And when they do come back, we hope to see better players, because it showed when Janine came back, how it rubbed off on the so-called newer players, and now all these opportunities are happening for all the other players.
Absolutely, and those players are in effect the finished article. Your job as the coach of the national team is to keep tabs on the next crop that's going to come through, the next wave of players. Tell us about how busy you are keeping in touch with the local coaches and motivating the young up-and-coming talent.
Well, we've been around the country. We had 6 Cecil road shows where we went and interacted with the coaches, showed the selection criteria, then watched all the 16 teams play on the next day. And on the Sunday, we even had national selections for high performance, under 15, under 17, under 20, and Banyana. So we did all 9 provinces for the national selection, and we came up with quite a lot of players that we identified in the different age groups. We recently, in the Lesotho match, called up one of the under 17 players to come to camp with us. We've also called up the 2 goalkeepers of the under 20 team just to get them in the mix. We've called up some of the players, and 2 players in particular, Gabriella and Kanya, made their debuts both against Lesotho. So slowly but surely we're just giving them a feel of what it's all about. And, you know, we have to keep tabs on the players, not only locally, but also overseas. We get footage of players playing in different countries, so we can keep tabs on them. But we have PTOs now around the country, so we can always, if a player gets recommended, we can go to these PTOs and say, can you go and check up? Or they can recommend to us as well. Even coaches, you know, they have players. I got a text message last night in connection with the selection criteria that we showed in Limpopo, and a coach was saying that there's a particular player, and I said, give me the details of when the next match is and I'll get someone to go and watch her.
Right, so it's a well-oiled machine. Right, so we're talking about COSAFA before AFCON. The inclusion of the two of the East African side, Uganda, and the West African side, Cameroon, that must make a big difference to how you're going to be able to prepare for AFCON.
Well, I think the quality of Cameroon itself, they're the highest ranked team in the tournament, the quality of themselves, I think it will raise the level because the other countries will realize that now they can measure themselves. Uganda has done reasonably well in their continental competition, and it's always good to have these guest teams coming in and raise the level. And I think it comes at the right time as well, where you can actually measure yourself and see what you still have to do going forward to AFCON.
Absolutely. Talking of AFCON, do we know where it's going to be just yet? And how much does that affect the logistics and the planning for the tournament? Because clearly you want to bring a squad and know exactly where you're going to be based and you know, what the plan of action is.
Well, at the moment, we're still not sure, but it has been said in the news, in the media, that Ghana's no longer hosting. And we're carrying on because the last phase of our preparation, we're hoping to go close or into the country where the AFCON is going to be held. So for now, we're just carrying on with our plans and ready for any eventuality, because you have to have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. And we want to make sure that we get everything right, not just logistically, but the planning. Want to make sure that each and every player knows their role, because come November, we want to be a well-oiled machine.
Well, we'll be monitoring. It's been amazing to watch the story of Banyana progress, and it can only get better, can't it? Thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Right.